Most sightings of unidentified flying objects happen to be from people looking up at the sky and seeing something distant and difficult to make out in any kind of detail. You often hear the complaints of the skeptics about the quality of the images and video captured of these far-off objects. So, what if we could get a little closer? Could we see a little more and maybe capture clearer images? There is a time when we do get to be closer to these mystery craft. This is when we too are in the air. Let's look at some of the best UFO sightings from people in planes. Welcome to IF, videos on history, mystery and the strange. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video again. Those that hunt out UFOs often search for the best places to increase their likelihood of having an interaction with an unidentified craft. People risk arrest sneaking onto secure military facilities and airports, and they're often working from rumour and half-truths in the hope that they will find proof of us not being alone in the universe. They are on the right path, just in the wrong place. Instead of being on the ground looking up and hoping to see an unidentified flying object, they should be in the air with these mysterious UFPs. It would seem that today, the number one place for seeing a UFO is from the window of an aircraft. There has been an increase in reports coming from passengers of all types of aircraft of late, be it passenger jets to military airplanes. It seems the skies are becoming an increasingly busy place. Since the phrase flying saucer was first coined back with the Kenneth Arnold sighting, strange craft shadowing man-made air vehicles have been somewhat of a regular occurrence. For many years, those that flew kept the secret out of fear that they would be grounded, their love of flying helping to keep the strange phenomenon hidden. This all changed when brave pilots began to step forward and share their stories. After the pilots came the passengers, and the sightings continue until today. Going back to October 2014 and a report of an unusual number of UFOs. The sighting is said to have happened around 5 AM. It details how, at 30 minutes before the plane's scheduled landing in Taiwan, passengers of the flight witnessed UFOs outside shadowing the airplane. Pulling out their phones, those aboard the plane recorded the unidentified objects. The plane's captain then ordered them to close their phones, saying they were about to land. Another strange UFO was seen by a flight over Rajasthan. Passengers spotted orbs floating near the aircraft and they were darting around changing orientation before quickly descending into the clouds and disappearing. Going back to the start and a location that is probably the most famous secret base in history, Groom Lake, Nevada or Area 51. An unidentified, not flying object was captured on film, with these pictures showing a large metallic disc parked in the desert. The pictures have been debated, with many saying that the object in the photo is not from another world but has a more mundane terrestrial explanation, with it being said to be a circular solar panel used to power the facility. A more convincing sighting recently happened on a plane that was making its way from Korea to Thailand. Lucas Kim was a passenger on a flight making its way to Bangkok. Looking out of the window, he was amazed when he saw a mysterious aircraft. This unidentifiable aircraft shocked the man when it split into 6 pieces and then disappeared. Looking for answers, the man questioned if it could be another man-made aircraft, but planes flying so close to one another is a clear breach of air safety. This is unless they are part of some kind of air display team. Mr. Kim said, "It is rare to see another plane flying next to your own, so I took out my phone and I recorded it. When I looked closely, it was not a plane. It was 6 individual vehicles. It was like a pulsating greenish yellow light." Mr. Kim believes that what he spotted was truly something unusual and that it couldn't be explained away as a reflection on the window. Mr. Kim's phone footage of the supposed UFO shows it at a distance, appearing as a white dot off the wing of the aircraft. As he zooms the phone in, it's easy to see several points of light moving in formation like no regular aircraft can. Moments later, they split into pairs and disappear from view. "That was the only time I've seen something like this," he said. When the aircraft split into pairs and disappeared from view, Mr. Kim was truly baffled. He reckons that if it wasn't 100% alien, It may have been some crazy Russian spy plane. Was this reflected light from the plane's wing, or beings from another world observing mankind to see if we're ready to be contacted? You can believe anything you want, but I truly think I encountered a UFO, said Mr. Kim. The word UFO does not mean it's 100% alien, it simply means flying objects that we don't recognize. It might also be some kind of secret spy plane. Still, Mr. Kim is open to the idea of extraterrestrial life. I am a Christian and I'm sure God gave us all of the universe to explore, he said. I don't think there are other thinking species like us out there, but there might be different animals on other planets. Reading his closing comments, I think the Korean man is positive he saw an alien craft. One of the most convincing sightings from a commercial flight occurred back in 2009 and has just surfaced now on MUFON with the case number 94345. The witness testimony states, "My wife and I were flying from Houston International to Port of Spain, Tobago on our honeymoon on June 28th of 2009. I still have the flight itinerary and double-checked the date and times. The day was mostly clear with a few clouds. I remember being able to see the Gulf really clearly and I could make out boats and oil rigs. Not sure what altitude that would have been. The flight left IAH at 1 PM and landed in POS at 7:40 PM. The flight path took us over the Gulf of Mexico. We were a couple of hours into the flight when we could just make out the Mexico City area way off in the distance, and the Yucatan area too. So it was probably close to 3 PM Central Time. I was looking out of the window at the Gulf and the land when I looked up to the horizon and saw a silver spherical object flying alongside us. It was close enough to say its diameter would have been close to the width of the plane's cabin, maybe a little larger in diameter. It didn't appear close enough to be disturbing the plane's flight capabilities. It's hard to judge the size and distance without something to reference it by, but it was closer than any two flying things need to be. It didn't appear to be glowing, but it did reflect the sunlight. The color reminded me of Mercury a little bit, the metal, not the planet. It didn't change shape, didn't have any lights on it, and I immediately thought, oh, that's a silver orb that buzzes around Mexico City all the time. I had my wife look out the window at it, but she doesn't recall the event. I do remember her basically saying, not dealing with it. She's good at ignoring things that cause too much stress in the moment. That's why I'm saying one observer. No one else on the plane said anything. I didn't get up and shout about it, so I guess I'm just as guilty about either not wanting to seem crazy or start a panic in a flying tube, more compelled by social derision than the object. I watched it for what seemed like 10 minutes. It didn't zip around, it just followed peacefully alongside the plane. Eventually a black cloud of fumes erupted from the back of it. You know, like back in the old cartoons when a superhero would grow tall, like an Apache chief. He sort of grew in animated chunks. That's what that seemed like the smoke or fumes did. It didn't seem like a steady flow of smoke, but sort of like time skipped maybe. I remember thinking, oh, it's sick, but I can't tell you why. Maybe conditioning that black smoke and vehicles don't really go together. It left this really long trail of smoke behind it, and it either vanished or accelerated so fast I couldn't see it, but it seemed like it was going west, like it was going away from the plane. The smoke stayed behind and floated past us like a normal cloud in the distance would. No one said anything. The flight wasn't bumpy or disturbed. No lights flickered. The remainder of the flight was normal. I kept looking out of the window for more, but never saw anything. Didn't see anything on the way back either. These strange sightings have continued to be documented, this raising some questions. First, why are the number of sightings on the rise? What could be the reason behind these UFOs following planes? And where could they have come from? I found a few more compelling reports of interactions between aircraft and unidentified flying objects that could provide the answers. But as I don't want this video to run too long, I will be posting those stories in part 2. For the moment, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you like what I do here on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.